Mr. Ravindra Ratnapala. His topic is on the Indo Ceylon special Christmas flight, December 1936. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Ratnapala, whose philatelic journey began at the age of 10. Over the past decade, he has specialized in Ceylon airmail, including a five-frame exhibit on Ceylon, England airmail 1928 to 1948 that earned a Vermeil. He is a former president of the Philatelic Society of Sri Lanka, has served as Sri Lanka's commissioner at several international exhibitions, and was a long standing member of the Philatelic Advisory Board for the Department of Posts. He has contributed numerous articles to the Sri Lankan Stamp Bulletin, and his thematic interests also include lighthouses and railways. Thank you very much, Mr. Ravindra Ratnapal. The floor is open for you.
Thank you very much, Varun, for that introduction, and
Pleasure.
to good evening, good morning to everyone, depending on your time zones. Um, so my talk today is about this very special flight that took place in December 1936. Actually, this was the first time that an airplane carried a mail to Ceylon and also carried mail from Ceylon. And my presentation to you today is in two parts. First, I will discuss about the preparations that were made for the flight between India and Ceylon. And my second part will be where I will discuss a one frame exhibit which I have done on this topic. And all the material that I'm showing in this exhibit of mine on the second part are all from my collection, which I have collected over the last 10 years or so. And the data for the first part of my presentation is all from the post office archives, which I was able to obtain some time back. Okay, so as I said, my presentation is in two parts. The preparations for the flight, and then I will show the exhibit about the material carried on the actual flights that took place on the 23rd and 24th of December 1936. Okay, so what happened? What happened prior to 1932? So prior to 1932, any airmail going out of Ceylon was sent to Karachi via the Indo-Ceylon TPO to Madras, and then from Madras to Karachi by train to connect the Imperial Airlines services originating in Karachi. Then and that was known as the slower service. Then in 1932, Tata commenced the Madras-Karachi service to connect the Imperial Airways service at Karachi, and then the mail from Ceylon was sent to Madras, again through the traveling post office, Indo-Ceylon TPO, to connect the service at Karachi. So this was in Ceylon known as the faster service. The slower service was also available at this time for customers from Ceylon. So Ceylon had two services available, one out of Madras and the other out of Karachi. So with a view to extending the Tata Airways service to Ceylon, a special flight known as the Indo-Ceylon Special Christmas Flight was undertaken by Tatas on the 23rd and 24th of December 1936. So why two flights? I will discuss that in my exhibit when I get on to the second part. It was also scheduled to deliver a British Christmas mail to Ceylon prior to December 1936, prior to Christmas Day of December 1936. So this flight flew from Madras to Colombo via Trichy and returned back to Madras, taking the same route. For those of you who would just want to know a little bit about the TPO, it would originate in Colombo and then come to Mana, somewhere here in Ceylon. And then the green line would show you the route of the TPO going all the way to Madras. And this is on the left, you see a picture of the pier in Mana. That was the starting point for the Ceylon end. And here is a picture of the pier in Dhanushkodi, the Indian side of the TPO, and then from there it continued all the way to Mana. So there were three people who made this flight possible for Ceylon, quite plausible in 1936. Here is a picture, and the pilot was Homi Barucha, and then of course the legendary Mr. Vincent, and Mr. Tata himself. They were instrumental in having this flight to Ceylon organized in 1936. So the first meeting to discuss this flight was held on the 7th of April 1932 about extending the service from Madras to Ceylon. And here are the people who were present at this meeting. And from the Indian side, we had Mr. Timms and Mr. Vincent in the Indian delegation discussing the subject. So discussions between the governments of Ceylon, India and Tatars to extend the service to Colombo started in 1933. So this is from a letter from the Secretary of the Government of India to the Secretary of Government of Ceylon dated 31st of December. Then Tata proposed that an airstrip be constructed in Mana. I showed you in the map before where Mana was. That's the point where the TPO, the Ceylon leg ended. Mana, and possibly I believe the proposal had two reasons. One, as I said, was it was the point of the TPO where it started and ended the Ceylon journey. And then another concern which Tata had expressed was that they were not very sure whether the aircraft could fly from Trichy to Colombo without refueling, crossing the ocean, and therefore they wanted an emergency landing strip. Now this is mentioned in a letter dated 6th of March 1933, signed by Mr. Tata himself. And another issue that was facing all the parties was that there was no landing ground in Colombo. And as of March 1933, there were no plans to build an airfield in Colombo, nor had the funds been allocated. So Tata stated that should an airfield, so in the discussions, they said should an air service rather, be extended to Ceylon, that all airmail letters should be carried by them, and to discontinue the carriage of airmail through the traveling post office, through the TPO. This was to make the service viable. And then they also said in the event that this was not possible, they asked the Ceylon government to guarantee a minimum number of mail at a contracted rate to safeguard the viability of service. Now, both these requests met with stiff opposition by the Postmaster General in Ceylon, and the reasons they attributed was that the proposed departure time of the flight from Ceylon, which was 8:15 a.m. on Monday, would not give any advantage to the public over the existing closing time of the mail traveling on the TPO to Madras, which was on Saturday. And they also went on to say that the public in Ceylon should not be denied of cheaper and alternate services that was available via Madras and Karachi. So discussions went on for some time, and then finally, I'm not going to repeat all this. What is on the screen? They put some numbers together from data that was available to them, and finally, they came to a conclusion. They assumed that 125,840 letters would be available from Ceylon to UK and the continent, and they applied this rate of 50 cents for a letter, which was eventually the rate agreed upon, which would generate 62,920 rupees. And they also estimated that the cost of the transport, the Imperial Airways plus the Tata cost, would be 59,839 rupees, and a profit of 3,081 rupees was going to be available. And this Tata agreed to contribute towards the development of a airstrip in Colombo. Okay, so finally, the State Council of Ceylon in the year 1934 selected a site very close to Colombo in a place called Ratnapala, and they built a airstrip of 600 yards. And in November 1935, a plane from the Madras Flying Club landed at the aerodrome, piloted by Mr. Bisco, who was the chief flying instructor of the Madras Flying Club. That was in November 1935. Here is the route that the flight took. It started from Madras, came to Trichy, and flew all the way to Colombo. Even though a landing strip was made in Mana, they did not stop in Mana, but flew all the way to Colombo. So that's the first part of my presentation. So now I will start on the second part of my presentation, which is the exhibit. Now, before I start this second part, I must say that this is an exhibit which I did a couple of years ago, and Piyush was, when I shared this exhibit with him subsequently, he made some corrections. So his corrections, I will mention it as I go on, because I have not corrected them in this in these pages. So the flight took place on the 23rd and 24th of December 1936. And here is a newspaper clip from a newspaper in India, which where they published about the flight, and this appeared on the 7th of December. And there is an inscription written Vincent here. This is when I got it. It was there, so I've kept it. So it talks about the flight, the times, and the fare fee and the postage, etc. It's all spoken on this little note. And the fee from India to Ceylon was fixed at 4 annas for a minimum weight of a half a tola. Not very sure how much a tola is. Piyush, would you be able to highlight how much a tola is?
Almost half. It's almost half an ounce.
Okay, so for the same. Okay, fine. Thanks. Right. So then. So in the exhibit, I'm covering 3 areas. First is about the flight to Ceylon on the 23rd of December. Next is about the flight from Ceylon on the 24th of December. And then, and third, the second flight, which they had to make it to Ceylon on the 24th of December, which was an unscheduled flight. So it was a heavily publicized flight. Tata issued philatelic covers to commemorate this occasion, and this is a cover issued by Tata. You will see these covers are freely available in the market. And this is what cover that came from Trichy to Colombo. Now, the covers that originated in India, I mean, had this black cachet applied on the covers, which says the first special India Ceylon flight, December 1936. And when they arrived in Ceylon, a purple cachet was placed, and even the material that originated in Ceylon, you will see the purple cachet, but the black Indian cachet is missing on the material that originated from Ceylon. Okay. Okay. So a lot of mail arrived on this flight, and here is one that came from Bombay again. As we see, this is a cover. This flight was heavily advertised or published, and people had prepared covers especially for this flight. As you can see from this cover that originated in Bombay, it's typed Madras Colombo first flight. So material from other parts of India traveled to Madras on the Tata Airways service or on the train to connect this special flight from Madras to Colombo. Now this one, even though I say it's from Calcutta to Colombo, this really did not originate in Calcutta. It was posted from Madras. It came from Calcutta to Madras by train in time to connect the flight. This is an interesting cover, as you will see when I discuss my next page. It was sent by the American Trade Commissioner in Calcutta to his counterpart in Colombo, Ceylon. Okay. So here is this letter that explains this cover. I will very quickly, you can read the letter. It talks about, he says, your telegram requesting me to send your envelope by Tata special flight on the 24th was delivered at my bungalow this morning at 7:30 a.m. But unfortunately, the outward air mail to Madras closed at 6 a.m. this morning, and the plane left at 7:45 a.m. So I am unable to comply with your request. Your airmail letter to me arrived this morning, and in conformity with your request of December 9th, I am returning the envelope to you herewith. So in the previous page, that was the cover, the airmail letter that the American Trade Council received in Ceylon, which he returned. So when I bought this envelope, little did I realize that there was this letter inside the cover. Okay, yeah. Okay. So now we will look at the material that went from Ceylon on this flight. So the flight left Ceylon on the 24th of December at 7:45 in the morning. And here is again a Tata philatelic cover that went to Trichy. Here you will see only the purple cachet in Ceylon has been placed, and the fee was fixed at 31 cents for the service, which was the air fee and the postage. Air fee was 25 cents and the postage was 6 cents. This one went to Bombay. It reached Madras and then was connected to Bombay on the Tata service going to Karachi. And here is material again that went to Madras. Now here again, you see these are all philatelic covers prepared by different individuals, not only Tata, but many other people prepared these covers. And here, this one is a registered cover that went on this flight. Again, they would have prepared for this flight long before the flight departed, because obviously this has been prepared on the 23rd of December. It's dated 23rd of December for a flight that left on the 24th of December. And it's been correctly postage stamped with the registration fee applied from Thomas Cook in Colombo. Okay. And then more covers that went to various other parts in India. This one went to Saharanpur. So the air journey ended in Karachi. As we can see, the Karachi stamp over the airmail label. And then another one that went to Karachi itself on the flight on the 24th. So most of the mail you will see has gone to a lot of places in India. And here is one that went to Calcutta, a very interesting cover again. I think this, though addressed to Calcutta, it connected the Calcutta mail in Madras in order for it to reach Calcutta. It did not travel through Karachi. It's a beautiful cover. Again, specially prepared for this flight. There was also material that went from Ceylon to England on this flight. And most of the material that was prepared for the flight in Ceylon was prepared in the plantation districts, that is where the British expats were living in the tea plantations. And so this is, and the fee was fixed at 50 cents. That's what I discussed with you in my first part of my presentation. So this went from a town called Balangoda, again, which is a tea planting area. It is addressed to Stanley Gibbons. The next one is, of course, again from a town called Talawakale, again, a tea plantation area in the mountains. And here you will see the inscription Ratnapala, Madras, London. Now, Ratnapala was the airport near Colombo where the Tata flight originated. And this one went from Kandy. To those of you, Kandy is a very popular city in Ceylon, which is the hill capital of Ceylon presently and even at that time. So this is some of the mail that traveled to England on this flight leaving Ceylon on the 24th of December. And the material that went on this flight eventually reached England on the 2nd of January 1937, as you can see from the arrival back date stamp, which is on this cover, on the back of this cover. And this is a registered cover that went from Ceylon. So additional 20-cent stamps have been fixed on this cover. And then cover that went to Burma. It obviously has been routed to several places eventually before being delivered to the correct addressee in Burma. So that's some of the material again. And then and then on the same cover, on the same flight, this cover, I am not very sure whether they really intended to catch this flight, because this is to Switzerland, mailed from Kandy. It doesn't have any indication that this was to catch this flight. It only says via Paris, because that was anyway the journey that the Imperial Airways route flew. So this went to Switzerland on this service via Paris. And the UPU rate for Switzerland was 70 cents at that time, so correctly stamped. And then one went to United States. Of course, here it appears that this cover had been specially prepared for the service, but from England, the air service has terminated in England and then traveled by sea to the United States. Right. So these were so up to this point, this is what the flight's intention was, to have one flight to Ceylon on the 23rd and a return flight on the 24th, where they thought that they will also be able to deliver the British Christmas mail to Ceylon. And you can see that there was no mail coming from Britain other than from India to Ceylon on the first southbound flight that took place on the 23rd. And why did that happen is because the the flight coming from Croydon, when it arrived in Karachi, it was a day late. And by that time, the Karachi Madras flight that was going to connect the flight out of Madras to Ceylon had already left Karachi. So the British mail could not be connected and it missed the flight. And by the time the flight from Ceylon returned to Madras on the 24th morning, the Karachi flight had already arrived in Madras with the British mail. And so the authorities decided that they will immediately turn around the Tata flight that arrived from Ceylon to send it back to Ceylon with the British mail, so that the mail would be delivered by the 24th, in keeping with the original objective of getting the mail to Ceylon before Christmas. So here is some material, British mail, that arrived on the second flight, southbound flight, from Britain. Of course, the mail was posted from Britain on different dates around the 15th, 16th of December in order to get it into Ceylon by the 24th of December. 6 pence was the rate from Britain to Ceylon at that time. So here is the British mail that arrived. And so you can see, if you look at the more of the what is appearing on the reverse back stamped, is it says the mail arrived in Colombo on the 24th of December at 6:30 p.m. And here another one which says 8 p.m. In Ceylon. So this is one way to establish that this material arrived on the second southbound flight. Because the other mail has 23rd of December arrival date backstamped on the material that arrived in Ceylon. And more material from England. I'm not going to talk much about it. Again, a lot of mail went to the planting areas. This second cover has a lot. It's very dear to me because this company, James Finlay and Company, is the company that I worked for 30 odd years. It was a tea plantation company, so that is where I made a career for myself in the tea industry, working for this company. And even as I left the company a couple of years ago, they still had this PO Box 59 address. And so it's a very dear cover for me that arrived on this flight. So I won't spend again a lot of time on the material that arrived on the flight. Once again, even in England, I think the flight had been publicized by the fact that you see it's typed first flight London to Colombo on the 16th of December. Of course, the day that the material was posted from UK. And here, this one, it says Croydon Aerodrome, and that is where the Imperial Airways service originated in England. Okay, so not only did the mail from Britain was connected to this flight, there was also a mail from South Africa. Again, I don't think it was intended for this flight, but it so happened that they loaded this mail, and this is a very special cover again because it has traveled all the way from South Africa to Ceylon by air, a distance of almost 10,000 miles. Without any, always it's connected, as I've given you the air journey here from from Cape Town to Ceylon. It's traveled all the way by air, this great distance. And here is one that came from Karachi to Colombo. Interestingly, again, the Indian black cachet is missing. None of the mail had the Indian cachet on the second flight. It only has the purple cachet placed in Ceylon, not the black cachet placed in India. But this one from Karachi also doesn't seem to have the Indian cachet. So as to where the Indian cachet was placed, whether it was placed in Madras or Karachi, is something that we need to investigate. Maybe Piyush can contribute later. And okay, here is a Stephen Smith cover that originated again, obviously originated sent from Calcutta. You can see the Park Street, Calcutta stamped very clearly. Understamped and therefore taxed 12 centimes on arrival. Stephen Smith has signed this cover on the reverse. So one of the rare Stephen Smith covers. And then here is one that came from a town in Ajmer in India. I'm not very sure where Ajmer is in India, but another cover that came on the flight. All arrived on the 24th of December in the evening. As you can see, 7:30 p.m. These covers were arrived. Now, the return of that second flight, which brought the mail, it went back empty. It did not carry any mail back to India on that flight or to anywhere else. So, this is the journey, the story of the Indo-Ceylon Christmas flight of December 1936, which was one of the pioneer flights to and from Ceylon. First time, as I said, air mail arrived in Ceylon or was carried from Ceylon by an airplane. Thanks to Tata, and eventually this service ended up when Ceylon was connected to the Empire Air Mail scheme in 1938, and where Tata started a regular service out of Ceylon in 1938. So thank you. So that's my presentation to you today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ratnapala. That was a very, very insightful and interesting presentation.